Hi, I'm Danae Matthews of the Dunn Matthews Law Firm. Today's video is about child support. And I want to talk to you about child support because on numerous occasions, people come to me because either one, child support's not correct, or they need to modify it for some reason because something wasn't taken into account. Child support's one of those very to the point type of things. It's a numbers game. I want to talk to you about 4 very specific categories that should be included in your child support worksheets or can be included. And if they're not, you want to make sure that they are accounted for. The first one is obviously the incomes of the parties, right? How can we determine child support if we don't know what the incomes are? In Georgia, we use each party's gross income, not the amount that hits your bank account. I understand that's what you've got to spare, but that's not what we use to calculate child support. It is your gross income before taxes, before any of those other things expenses come out of your check. And so you want to make sure that the incomes are correct. If you or your opposing party is self-employed, so much more comes into play with that. The expenses that you may have with your business comes into play with that. And so you want to make sure that you are very particular in making sure that the incomes are correct, because at the end of the day, they determine the final number. In addition to that, you want to make sure that any pre-existing child support orders are also taken into consideration. And we aren't talking about those unofficial child support agreements that you and your co-parent may have with one another, those under the table child support agreements. We're talking about official, on paper, signed by a judge orders that are binding by a court. If that is the case, then those child support orders should be included as a pre-existing child support figure so that it can affect your current child support obligation that's before the court. Travel expenses. Do you have to travel to see your child? Does your child have to travel to see you and it takes 3 or 4 hours, or there's plane involved, etc.? Those expenses can be used on the child support worksheet as well. Finally, your child's expenses, whether that be ballet, football, soccer, private school tuition, any extraordinary expenses can be included, such as tutoring, etc. And you want to make sure that those things are accounted for. What does that mean? That means making sure that you have proper representation to ensure that all of the appropriate expenses are accounted for, proven expenses, and actually inputted into the worksheet so that you are either one, paying or receiving the proper amount of child support. If this speaks to you, and if you are someone who is currently in need of a modification or in need of child support in general, give us a call at 770-686-3092, and we'll be more than happy to make sure that what you need is what is ordered by the court, as well as what your child needs.